Good afternoon, everybody. Thank you for coming by and checking out the live stream today. For those of you who are watching a recording after the fact, don't forget to like and subscribe. Since you're not on the live chat, by all means, feel free to leave any questions in the comments once I post the video. I'll be happy to try and circle back later on. And unlike Jen Psaki, I'll actually circle back and get the answers you may want from that video. I'm just picking on Jen Psaki. That job would probably be terrible. Oh, hey, Heroic, how's it going, man? Thank you for the food recommendation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't checked this guy out, check him out. He's a lot of fun, and he likes food as much as I do, and he's got all sorts of neat tips, so definitely check him out today. First and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, weird weather everywhere, so by all means, if you are driving, traveling, flying, make sure you check your weather, dress appropriately, and make sure your vehicle's in good enough, absolutely, brother, it's in good enough condition to actually make it through snow, ice, rain, whatever it is you may be going through. Don't think that extreme heat is going to not affect your vehicle also. So if your tires are a bit hinky, you may want to get them fixed. Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to focus on something a little bit different than typical. And one is the, hold on a second here, is the recent behavior of criminals. This is just really weird stuff, and I'm going to share this because I think, and a lot of you've probably already seen it. This is in the U.S. Sun, but I've seen it on YouTube. I saw it first on TikTok. But for those of you who wonder, oh, well, we don't need to be able to defend ourselves. We have the cops, which I don't understand. We defunded them, but we don't need guns because we have them. Anyway, do we need to maybe change things in law enforcement? Sure. We can always improve, and we need to. But this, if you are not a pro home defense person, this should absolutely change your channels. Let me share that right now. So if you guys have probably seen it, hopefully this won't echo too bad. Let's see if we can get this guy. Oh, sorry, we've got a commercial, so I'm not going to inflict you with a commercial, but this actually was a incident on somebody's Ring doorbell, and it freaked a lot of people out in my circle. So this was originally posted on Facebook. There's nobody answering him. Okay, so a little bit of context about this dude. He's unknown to the family, and the husband's on a business trip. The wife was at home. Now, if I read correctly, and I could be wrong, not a firearm house, no big dogs. So this guy just started knocking at, supposedly it was like the sun was just starting to come up. And he just starts knocking. Now, by the way, the woman is hiding in the first floor behind the couch. She's not answering the guy. So when he's knocking, saying, "Are you sure?" There's nobody actually talking back. He's talking all by himself. I'm going to continue this. Listen, and let me know if you can't hear the audio on the video. Listen to what he says to the husband, who ultimately answers the doorbell. Wait for it. Did you guys catch that? He's going to say it again, so hang on. I don't know what to say to that. But since the 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 um, infection has occurred, or the contagion, whatever you want to call it, a lot of people were not getting help they needed. Then to boot, in order to deal with this kind of situation, you have to hit it from two sides. And actually, it's funny. My wife just did a white paper on this very phenomenon. Um, on the one hand, these are people who need help, obviously. So they need to be addressed in the proper way. Professional medical help, intervention, stuff like that, or being kept away from the general public, which brings me to part two, quality of life laws. This is not a quality of life for these folks. That's a nice neighborhood. You look at the neighborhood, it's kind of nice. Now, keep in mind, I'm going to back up before we go any further. Oh, hold on. Look at the size of the guy versus the door. He comes back. Now, take a look at this guy. Now, that door, he's almost as tall as the door. And what's a typical door? 7 foot, something like that. This guy's almost as tall as the door. So this is not a small dude. And he's basically openly threatening to rape and murder the woman he thinks is inside. More than likely, he has seen her at some point. Okay, folks like this don't magically, they don't typically magically appear and just decide there's someone in the house. Now, they could, to be fair, but not a typical behavior. And the fact that he said, I want the girl that's in there to come out so I can rape her and kill her, he obviously knew someone was in there, which means he may have been walking around. She could have been in the yard out with the kids, unloading groceries. He walked by, saw her, and it got stuck in his head, and he wound up coming back. Now, again, there's two sides. It's the mental health issue that this guy has. They need treatment, but also quality of life laws need to be enforced. They're not being enforced in a lot of places. Now, I don't know. Oh, this was in Vegas. So Vegas, to be fair, Vegas has been pretty decent about enforcing, behavior laws, because it's Vegas. They're not gonna have business if people get mugged all over the strip, right? But that's scary when you think about it. What if she had opened the door, thought it was her husband? What if he decided at his size to hit that piece of crap door? That big glass probably would have given way, and he'd be inside the house. That's really horrifying. And so I'll show you that one more time, just so you guys can see it. Look at the size of the guy versus the door. Hey, Northern Girl, it's good to see you. He's a big dude, right? That's not a small guy. And he's obviously not right. But for him to see this, or to say something like that, again, he seems very nonchalant. Um, so, guys, pay attention, since they're not enforcing a lot of these vagrancy laws. And you've seen the videos in California. People are just pooping in lawns now and just carrying on. This kind of situation, he must have seen the wife at some point. Like I said, unloading groceries, something like that. These are concerning situations. Oh, no, she didn't open the door. The husband wound up actually opening the door, or answering the ring, and the guy repeated to the husband, I want her to open the door so I can rape her and kill her. If you're not a firearms person, which watching that I would think that would change your mind. Definitely a bat or a dog or something. As you can hear, there's no dog barking. So they had, yeah, this is a true story. This is an actual Facebook post. The woman put it in Facebook, and the video has gone viral. I saw it on TikTok about a week ago. I do believe Black Scout also used this clip to talk about, defensive situations. So this guy actually blatantly said, uh, mind you, the wife, for those of you coming a little late, the wife was actually physically in the house. She was not answering. When he was saying, "Oh, are you sure? Yeah, are you sure?" Nobody was replying. He was talking all by himself until the husband got on the ring. And then he told the voice in the box, "Oh, tell her to open the door so I can rape her and kill her because I have a knife." Again, quality of life laws. There's a lot of moving parts to stuff like this, but there's been an uptick. If you watch Angry Prepper, he will repeatedly point this out. Had another one come up, and it seems to be a lot of targeting of females, which is disturbing. So, again, situational awareness. The wife was smart enough. She texted the husband so he could answer the ring. She called the police, and she hid. And supposedly she was ready to barricade herself in another room with a dresser. So at least she had some kind of presence of mind to be ready. But crazy stuff. And I think as we see less enforcement of these quality of life laws, you're going to see more of this. This is another one that happened. I believe this was New York City. It looks like New York because of the orange license plates. This young lady was on a run walking down the street, and this guy was hovering in and out, and he just tackles her. And this is, by the way, in the middle of the day. I find it kind of ironic that the divorce thing is on the other side. So he tried to molest her. She started to cause a commotion, and so he ran off. A shopkeeper nearby heard that commotion, and he came out. They're saying this is happening daily, hundreds of times a day in New York City. Again, the police have been beaten up so much they've backed away from quality of life laws. So you're not seeing the patrols out there as much as you did. So again, now more than ever, a good situational awareness. Get in the habit. If you go to the ATM, don't just walk up blindly. Before you put your card in and put your code, drive around the bank or the ATM if you can and see if there are any parked cars with people in them. If there's anyone hanging out in the bushes, kind of, one of our banks is near like a Taco Bell or something. And so you always have people kind of hanging out. I mean, it's Taco Bell, right? Where do the drunks go in the evening? But drive around, see if there's anyone really paying attention to your car as you drive through. I would also, when you're at an ATM, you put your code in as the machine thinks its thoughts, look around you and make sure no one's approaching you. All right. The worst case is you have to bail out. I also keep my truck in park. Not in park, in drive. So if someone actually tries to grab me, the money, or the card, I'm going to drive forward and he's going to go for a ride with me. And in an F-150, especially the roads out in this part of Texas, that's just going to suck. But again, this young lady, middle of the day, and she had gone on a run or was out for her exercise, and she stops to play with her phone. And I think they say she was a little suspicious of him. So she checked the phone and then turned around and went the other way, and he came back after her and knocked her down. So again, she started to scream. It was the middle of the day. Somebody yelled out a window, and he took off. The poor thing, though, she got slammed into the concrete. And yeah, I'm sorry to hear about your neighbor, Northern Girl. That's not bueno. These kind of things are happening a lot, and it's not a very good situation. We can't stop crime, right? We can't make the police enforce quality of life laws, better patrols, etc. But this is typically a direct effect of someone being brazen. I mean, this guy, middle of the day in New York, and he's just like, I'm going to go knock this girl down. I don't know if he was after money, if he was being a pervert. They don't have the details, so, but knocked her down. Now here's another one, and these homeowners own a store. So they own like a cosmetics place or something. So you're going to see inventory in their house. And unfortunately, if you own a business, it's happened several times to people I know who've owned business, that people who are interested in robbing the business will watch if the owner leaves and then try to follow the owner home. It happened in Houston a lot. And my wife owned a boutique down in Houston at one point. So before she locked up, I would come and wait with her and lock up with her. And I'd bring one of my sons, and typically, you know, or even better yet, the boys would show up with half the football team. That became very unattractive. But she had a husband, she had 2 teenage sons, and a bunch of football players and cheerleaders who really liked her. So that was a great thing. This family here, and again, this is from WPT TV. These guys run into the house. There's no audio on this one. And you see all the stockpile. They followed the owner home. Okay. Keep in mind, you go to the ATM, they may not mess with you there. They may follow you to the house. They're still, so they're turning on the lights. They're looking around. Because of the boxes, they're actually disoriented. So as you can see, one went to the kitchen, one goes around. They're a bit confused right now. So they got in the house without a very good plan, which typically it's an opportunistic attack. But these homeowners, actually, that dude's going out the back door. I don't know where the hell he's going. So these folks, I mean, they could steal product, right? They could steal electronics. There was a TV, some computers you can see off in the background. They're looking for the owners. Okay, they're looking for the people at the home. The fact that they're bypassing all this other stuff. Watch, there's the, oh, I don't know if y'all saw that. That was the wife. The husband was not still trying to get up. She heard them first, and she didn't even wait. There she is in the background here. I'm going to try and expand it so you guys can get a better look. Now, she shot from cover. That was smart. But then she broke her cover. And you notice at the very end, this other knucklehead comes out of the side, right? Yeah, he goes running away. He very easily could have tackled her and fought her for the gun. She's kind of small, as you can tell. Guys, I'm no super tactician, but if you're in a covered place, you have some kind of protection. See, and now she's searching the house by herself. The smart, I don't know if there are kids involved, by the way. And oh, that's the son. The son came out of the other room, or the boyfriend. I don't know. He came from somewhere else. Anyway, she's in shock. You could see in her face, her mouth open, her eyes are wide. She shot from cover and concealment. That was a good move. But she should have stayed there. Take your shots. They were going to bail as soon as they started running to make sure that someone doesn't come out. That last guy could easily have shot her or tackled her from behind because she came out of her cover. And now they're on the phone with the police. So she did the right thing, but then she got scared and she panicked. Guys, it's easy to second guess someone. 2 a.m, she's in her PJs, her brain's not working. So it's easy to armchair general something after the fact from a video. But it's important we can learn stuff from things like this. Again, she was in a protected place. She fired. The ideal thing would have been to call the cops, engage the target, call the cops, and wait where she was until her friend came out. And then get all the friends into one room and kind of consolidate in one spot. She was scared. You could see it in her face. So, guys, there's been a lot of this. We're seeing a lot of it in everywhere. I know it's happening in the East Coast. I know it's happening in Chicago. It's happening in the big cities in New York. I'm sorry, in Texas and in Oklahoma, New Orleans. I'm hearing it all over the place from people I talk to. So, guys, look at your house. See if there's any locks you can improve, windows you can improve, anything you can do to make it a little less appealing to go to your home. You just don't want these assholes in there. She was lucky, and supposedly I think she actually hit one of them. Oh, she killed one. I don't know who she hit, but he's well, he won't be doing that again, I guess. But again, situational awareness. They probably, because they have all that material, they probably own a store. Again, much like the first video, these guys probably cased out the house or saw them. You're going to see more of that if there's another restriction of activity. I'm speaking code. It really annoys me, guys. It's just, anyway, restrictions of activity. Hey, Stuart, how are you, man? Restrictions of activities. You're going to see people get unemployed. You're going to see people start acting nuttier, and they're going to get opportunistic. They're going to follow you from your ATM. They're going to follow you from work. They're going to try and catch you while you're jogging with your headset in, like that one girl. Try to be as situationally aware as you can. My old sensei once told me the fight you always win is the one you didn't get into. Even if you think you can take the first guy, you don't know if he's got buddies hiding around the corner. So try to keep out of those situations. Easier said than done, I know. But please do that. I enjoy interacting with all of you guys on the various chats. So I want to be sure we continue to do so and nobody gets hurt between then and now. So anyway, that's my public service announcement, I guess, for today. And I'm not that I'm happy people died, but I'm happy that last girl successfully protected her home, and the jackass will no longer be doing such things. Going to a different subject now that Chinese stocks, guys, have you seen what is going on with the Chinese company stocks? There's been some changes in the laws in China, and the stock market did not react well to it. And so earlier today, China's stock market meltdown. Their Hong Kong index dropped 4%. They said some of the stocks actually have dropped 15 to 20%. Tencent 700 has dropped 10% in less than a day. They don't know what it's going to do tomorrow. So crazy stuff. They're beating up crypto now too. Even Bitcoin and some of the other ones are going south. Alibaba dropped 7%. By the end of the day, I think they went down 10% as well. So we're starting to see a lot of pressure on the Chinese stocks. And you all know they like to control their currency, but they want to make profit from everyone else. And they're playing both ends against the middle. That's a losing game. You can't keep doing that and expect to be profitable. I suspect we're going to see China's going to get in trouble financially. And they might make stupid ideas. Now, they did drag some of our stocks down as well, but ours went down in the single digits. And some people attributed that to just general tech market instability at the moment. Like Tesla went down 1%. Tesla is like $500 a share. Like, what is 1% of that? I mean, it's nothing. But in any case, international stocks, specifically China, if you're invested in that, pay attention to them. You may want to walk away from that if you're in a position to do so, or diversify so you're not all invested in stocks or bonds or whatever. Diversify personally as well as in your portfolio so you're not as at risk. But yeah, the Chinese, China took a hit today in the stock market. And they're not super happy about that, and that's going to be a problem. So I'm going to show you one more on this stock thing, and then we're going to move on from that as well. And that is, so big tech. So yeah, U.S. stocks declined as investors digested the latest batch of corporate earnings. Actually, the U.S. stocks kind of stabilized. Overall, the Dow Jones went down 80 points out of 35,000. Not a big thing. The market's kind of trying to level off as best as it can, but China's been flooded. China's been hit with a lot of natural incidents, and they've also had a lot of currency instability in the open market. So again, keep an eye, because when countries get into that bad a shape, they don't always make good decisions. The leaders kind of get a little skittish, and they tend to make a decision that may not serve them well in the long term. And speaking of that, that's going to be the what I'm going to discuss next. So I don't know if you guys have heard about this stuff, but so China may be the newest country to go into Afghanistan. So let's go back in history. So you had the Russians, I think the French under Napoleon, you've had the Greeks and Romans, you had the British Empire, the Russians in the 80s, the Americans in the 2000s. Nobody really did well. Okay, that's tough terrain to fight in. And these folks have been fighting for generations. They're good at asymmetric combat. So China has decided that they will go into Afghanistan, and I'm going to show you an article here so you guys can kind of see what the deal is, and it's a bit concerning for India. So let me share that real quick, because that can cause some instability that nobody's going to like, because all of these countries are nuclear capable, and they're all bordering one another. So China-Pakistan alliance is occurring in Afghanistan, and that's concerning India. Oh, this knucklehead thing here, go away. So India, as you well know, and China don't get along very well. China's having issues with Islamic insurgents, which they're not publicizing, on their western borders with Afghanistan and Tajikistan, all these other countries. So they and Pakistan are trying to get in cahoots to stabilize Afghanistan, because they're worried the Taliban taking over again is going to result in terror attacks in China, because of what the Chinese did to some of the people on their side of the border who practice Islam. They were pretty ugly to the Muslims in their country, and the Taliban are very upset about that. So China and Pakistan's declaration that they will closely cooperate in Afghanistan as the last U.S. and NATO troops withdraw, leaving a security vacuum, has begun to worry Indian policymakers. Now, for those of you who are not familiar, India and Pakistan do not like each other. They have fought several small wars/skirmishes over the last 50, 100 years. There's some old bad blood between these two nations. In any case, China decide, we'll go in there and see if we can help you. I don't know if that's a good thing. I'm kind of glad our guys are coming home, but I think it's one of those. If China wants to play in there, have fun, guys. Because did you learn nothing from what happened to Russia and the U.S. in that part of the world? So I'm going to show you a map just so you can get some clarity on exactly where these countries lay with each other. And check it out. So as you can see, let me back out a little bit here. Oh, That was a little too much. So here's China. China, as you can see, borders India and Afghanistan, and Pakistan also is here. So this alliance in here is very concerning to India. Pakistan is not a fan of India, and the Chinese have fought repeatedly in the mountains up here. And since it's a gun-free zone, they've actually beaten each other to death. Like patrols will run into each other and they'll start talking smack, and the next thing you know, someone gets thrown down a ravine, someone gets beaten with a rock. It's some medieval shit between these two countries because they agreed no guns, which was probably a smart thing if they're beating each other with sticks. But you notice Afghanistan and Tajikistan, these countries share this border here. China has a Muslim populace out here that has been treated very poorly, as have some of the Nepalese and the other ethnic groups on this part of their border. What they're afraid of, or from what I'm seeing, is that the Taliban will consolidate Afghanistan, and then they will start training people and sending them into China to do bad things. If you look back in the first decade of the 2000s, I think it was 2008 to 2012, China had a lot of issues, bombing, shooting, stabbings by, they call them radicals, but they treated them terribly, so the people are just pissed, and they're killing the Chinese government representatives. It got kind of quiet lately, but they're afraid if the Taliban consolidates with all that equipment that Russia and the U.S. have left there, that's going to be a bad deal for them. So remains to be seen exactly how that's going to play out. If the Chinese are smart, they're not going to get sucked into the country because that's not going to do well for them. But I think they're also overdue for their own Vietnam/Afghanistan incident. So they're trying to expand the empire, and that's right next door. So it makes sense. They're getting expansionists. They may try to do something they shouldn't in Afghanistan. Fortunately, it shouldn't affect our guys. We still will have special forces in a variety of these countries. I'm pretty confident of that, but we're not going to have those big footprints we did 5-10 years ago. So I'm glad the guys are coming home. China can go get their butt kicked. But in any case, China's under a lot of pressure economically and politically, and apparently also militarily, with these insurgent possibilities. So I'm curious to, as well as weather and flooding in their major cities. So I'm curious to see how China behaves. I'm gonna make a prediction that they're gonna do something disruptive to the U.S. or Russia. They're gonna be buttholes in some way, shape, or form to distract from what they've got going on in there. If nothing else, to distract their own people from their own problems. But in any case, ladies and gentlemen, I was going to have to call this one early, which is why I did my live a little earlier than usual. Work has been crazy, which is good because it's employment, and the busier the better. But I got some commitments I got to take care of, so I wanted to come up, do a quick live this afternoon while my brain is still functioning and I can pronounce words and remember how to push buttons. Don't forget those videos I showed in the early part of my live. Okay, there has been a lot. We're having it even out in the country. There's been a spike in meth. There's been a spike in heroin in the cities, meth out in the countries. I'm hearing that there's some new designer drugs coming out of Asia Pac that are starting to show up on the West Coast and in Hawaii and places like that. And one person in law enforcement described it as fucking zombie medicine. Excuse my French, but that's literally what he said to me. And this is someone I trust very intimately with what he says. So be careful. Situational awareness. When you go shopping, you go to the store, you go to the restaurant, they could follow you home. Don't be paranoid. Be aware, be smart, and think things through before you do them. Make it Make yourself unpleasant to pursue and annoy. Until next time, guys. I love the French. Yeah, you guys haven't seen me go like the other Pete. You know, the one that has all the bad words. I try to be nice, but sometimes I just can't. But anyway, guys, be safe, be careful, and I will see you. I'll have a premiere Thursday. Don't remember what it is because my brain's starting to shut down. But I will talk to y'all later. God bless. Take care. Be safe.